Welcome back to Positive Life. Hope everything is going great. Hope that you're on track to live your dream, that you're taking the steps to get there. Now that we mentioned steps, there's a lot of people that like to skip the steps because they don't want to do the steps. They don't want to motivate themselves or inspire themselves to do what they call the tedious steps. It's like they get frustrated easily. They lose focus and get angry, and is like, why is my dream not happening for me? Why is the world against me? Why can't I catch a break? Many times it has to do with that you're supposed to enjoy your dream, not because you want attention, that you want people to see you. There's times that some people go on social media and they go in the comment sections of famous people, and they say nice things, or people that are influencers. They try to get their attention. They try to say nice things like all the time, try to compliment them, and just give all their time to them because they want them to notice them. They want them to see them so it could give them value, to say like, hey, I'm saying these nice things so maybe you will acknowledge me. Meanwhile, their dream is slowly evaporating, that they're not doing enough for their dream. So then they skip the steps. To skip the steps because it's hard, it's difficult. And if you want to be famous or you want to accomplish big things, then it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have to give the effort, give your energy, get the work done. Because if you're wanting like $1 million dream and you're going to give, a $2 effort, then it's not going to happen. Maybe you might get lucky. Maybe you might fake it. You go out there and you're walking on red carpets to some events that nobody knows what the hell they are. Like, what have you done? Like, why are you there? And then you might have couples that fake it. They may act like they're on TV shows, act like they're in movies, but it's easily to verify that on IMDb, to know what they're doing, the quality of the projects, whether they're in the box office, how much money they have made, what their production budget is, and who these people really are. Sometimes they're out there faking it so much that they don't do the back end work, that they can't even write a biography. They can't do the trivia. They can't do the things that will market them or promote them out there as like, I'm an actor. And they may be on their page trying to show off, trying to fake it, take the pictures and share articles that are just like pumped up like steroids, like articles that are not like real, to the point of like, would you want that written on you if you really are not really doing anything? I mean, would you want to share that, or where somebody just pumps up your article like it's on steroids about who you are, about your success, about how great you are, how influential you are, how famous you are, but you're really nobody. Like, you're nobody. And it's okay to be nobody. I mean, we've all been there, and to not be able to fulfill our purpose, to not accomplish, our goals, our dreams, and we could go out there and get education and spend countless hours keeping busy and thinking that we are getting closer to our dream. But then we forget about the steps, that the steps is the most important thing. It's the development of our dream. It's like the steps you take. Like, you could say, I want to live my dream. This is my dream. And then you have the setup of like, okay, I'm going to start preparing for my dream and everything, preparing. And then the development is like, okay, the steps is like, I'm doing it. I'm chiseling away. I'm making it happen. And if you're a writer, then you're writing. You're taking seminars. You're rewriting, and you're showing people, and you're not afraid to get criticism, or if somebody, you feel like you're being judged. It's the things that are within us that stop us, because we start to doubt whether we are capable of living our dream, or we start to think that we're imposter. They call it imposter syndrome, like where we don't belong there, like that. We're not good enough. Like, why are we around these people because they're so great? And then we start to put all these people on pedestals, and that we don't believe in what we're capable of doing. Because if we believe in our dream and we make it about ourselves, not that our dream is our identity or what we want to do, whether we're a writer, a musician, or athlete. It's like we go out there and work hard. You think Kobe Bryant uh, didn't work hard, even though he was talented. He had to work hard. He had to wake up early and shoot basketballs like all the time and work on his skills and his technique and to hone his craft. And that is the same for all the other writers. And sometimes the writers get frustrated. We get frustrated because things don't work out or the story's not working out, or it's like trying to put a puzzle together and you're not putting the pieces together, and you get frustrated, or you're trying to do a Rubik's Cube and you can't get all the colors to match up. Like you're putting work into it, or you're trying to beat a video game and you keep getting to the certain point and you just keep losing and losing, and it takes you so long to get there. And it's called practice. When you practice at something because you care about it and that you love it and you want to do it and your heart is in it, then you will make it. And it's a problem because people like to share their highlights. A lot of models do it, a lot of actors do it. They want to share highlights, like all the lights are flashing on them, the music and everything. They want to put together something to make believe that there's someone, and then people start to gravitate towards them because they think there's someone, and they're not. Because you could look up who they are. It's out there. The information is public. You could find out who these people are, and you can see what they're really doing, whether they're out there taking the steps to live their dream. And it's like you have to fail. It's not like that we wake up failing, but you have to realize that when we fail at something, then we do something to get better at what we want. That we start to put the work in. We start to put ourselves out there and surround ourselves. It's just like people that are afraid of rejection, that they don't want to go out into the dating scene and they don't want to walk up to somebody because they need that validation right away, that they look good, that they're funny, that they're everything. And when they're not getting that validation, then they get afraid of like, do I look good? Do I have anything to offer? Will this person like me? And they put so much weight and emphasis on, does this person like me? Like, I hope they like me. I pray that they like me. I would give anything for them to like me or to be with them, because they're attaching their value to that other person, because they know that if they're walking with that person or they're seeing with that person, or if they share pictures, then it gives them like a comfort, like a safety net to say, like, I'm with that person, so I must have value. It all comes down to value and self-worth. And people may not invest the time to live their dream and to do the work, because most of the time they just like the highlights. They want to skip the steps and they want to be out in the the more high point of like, okay, I'm living the dream. Look at me, I'm taking a picture. This is what I'm doing when I'm living my dream. Or like, oh, look, when you're out on the red carpet, this is what it feels like to live your dream. Or look at me, look at me, look at me, I'm someone, I'm a public figure, when they're really not. When they haven't done the work and they don't really care enough, because they're all over the place. They're all over the place. They lack focus. They can't concentrate on one thing. They're just all over the place, like a chicken is running all over the place. And they can't spend the time to say, you know what, okay, this is the plan. A lot of screenwriters don't like to compare like scripts to homes, because they're saying it's not like a home. Like, it requires more work and it's more like in depth, and there's like many more steps. But if you want to look at it as like, if you have a bunch of homes that are this, like they're on frames, yeah, they could be sold and eventually people will move into them because it's hot, hot properties. And people are eventually going to say, okay, I want this home. It's going to be built and I want this home. And, it may sell itself because the market's, hot right now. Like, the prices have gone up on homes. But when you really think about it, the script is like a home, because if you are just talking about your ideas and you're saying like, I have a lot of ideas, and like people put so much weight on their ideas of saying that my idea, like I have so many good ideas, they need to be written by people and all that. Like people make it out to be like that the story is so valuable and that somebody needs to write it, and there's, that needs to tell the story of their life. But then they don't even know how to do the writing. It's like they want to show off and say, I could do so many things. I could do this and I could do that, and I'm just that. Like, they're all over the place, and you can know in a conversation that they're just all over the place and they lack focus, and they try to act confident by just impressing you. but then they really lack confidence. They don't have the confidence to do what they want to do, because if they would have done it, it would have been already, it would have been done already. It would have been accomplished. And that's the problem, is that the social media sphere, people want to share those pictures. Like, I'm in a dress, or I'm in a suit. I'm at a Thai event, and it's a red carpet event, and then they're just wanting to show off to all their fans that they're someone. But one day they're gonna wake up and know that they're just not. They didn't accomplish anything, because they exhausted all that time trying to be someone and trying to pretend, and that they didn't go out there and share reels. They didn't make a reel. They didn't share their monologue, like record themselves acting, and because sometimes they don't want that like, you could have validation of like, you're good, oh, you're like so awesome, but sometimes people could just be telling you that because they don't know what's good or not. They just assume like, oh, that person's an actress, or that person's an actor, I need to follow them, I need to be on the page, and like, wow, you're just so awesome, you're so famous and everything, and that they're just trying to woo them because they need a little attention too, because then they're not feeling good about what's going on in their life. So then they spend all their time, whether it's in politics, whether in sports, whatever they want, because people want to feel smart. People want to feel successful. They want to feel that they're somebody. And when they have that emptiness, then they start to move towards people that have that success, so then they can try to share their wisdom or knowledge, so that person's gonna acknowledge them and validate them and say like, oh, you're someone, that you're like, wow, your voice is so good, you're smart, you must be like, really knocking it out of the park. Like, they want people to tell them, or if they are wearing something nice, they want people to say like, oh, you're beautiful, or you're good looking, you're handsome. And it's like all this validation. So then people have their daily goals is this, to sit on social media, and they want people to validate them, and then their dreams just get lost because they don't want to do the work, because they know it's hard. It's because their heart is not in it, that they don't really want it, and they want it for the wrong reasons, because they want to love themselves. They want to be seen as someone of value. They want to be, just like out in the spotlight, and they don't want to do the work, because acting requires work. That you could take acting classes, and when you say that they don't work, you say, I'm not going to take the acting classes, I've taken so many and they're a waste of time, because you're not going to the right acting classes. If you keep firing your agents, that means that you don't have patience, that you're not picking the right agents. So you have to take accountability, personal responsibility, to say, okay, I'm not doing enough for my dream, but I'm making the wrong decisions, and that there are better decisions of like, I could take these certain roles, I could do these things, I can make my own films, because the technology is out there to make films. That is not expensive to buy equipment, to get a team together, and to shoot something. And that's when people like to make excuses, because they like to compare the past and say, because it didn't work out in the past, that it's not going to work out now. And I know what I'm doing, because I know I'm right, and I know what I'm talking about, and you're not successful, so don't tell me until you reach my success. And that's the frame of mind, that people think that because someone is not successful, which they try to put that person down and say, because that person is not successful, I'm not going to listen to them until they are at my level. So then they're being condescending. They're not listening. They're not taking advice, and they wait until things fall apart to realize that, oh, I should have listened to that person, or I should have maybe, been a little more careful, or I should have spent more time on my dream, because when it gets to a certain point, then it's too late. Certain things, you have more time. Like certain dreams are like golf, like you could do it later in life, but some dreams will pass you by. If you're an athlete, then you have a window, a small window, in terms of like in your life, to get good at something. But if you're like a writer, then you might have more time, but sometimes you might not be good enough to be a writer. But if you work at it, then maybe your hard work could overcome the lack of talent. Some people are, even though they have ideas, they know what ideas work and they understand people. They understand the audience and how to create those stories and to make people think and to write that subtext. And then some just think that their ideas are so like creative and like they're just so amazing and they're gonna start to have these big egos about their ideas and like, oh, like they're just so great and all that, and then they don't want to write them because there's this fear. People fear because they don't want to know that they're not good enough, and it kind of kills the fantasy of like that my dream is over. Like, who am I now? Like, what do I have in life left? Because I put so much emphasis on this dream and now I don't have it. So, I mean, there's so much to talk about, but people skip the steps because they don't want to do the work. They skip the steps because it's too hard. So don't skip the steps. Do the work. It's worth it. And in the end, you will celebrate that you stick with it and you didn't give up. So until the next time, value yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. Peace out.